Test 1. I hope my camera doesn't fall. This is like the jankiest setup I've ever had. Hey guys, what's up? Figured today I'd do a little Q&A because I asked you about a month ago on Facebook what kind of questions you had for me. And I got a pretty decent response, but some of the questions were a little bit weird. Nonetheless, I still have to answer them. So that's what we're doing today. Just gotta sign into Facebook first. I can't find them. This is gonna make for a really awesome video if I can't find these questions. One moment. Okay, my Facebook is totally glitching out right now, but I think I found it. Okay, here it is. Q&A. You guys ready? I got like 8 questions. Okay, first question is from my friend Tamara. Actually, she asked like 5 questions. Okay, first question. Why did you decide to go on exchange? Until probably my freshman year of high school, I didn't actually really consider going on exchange. And so they did a little presentation at my school. It wasn't through Rotary, I don't think, and it was just these people talking about what their exchanges were like. And I talked to my parents about it, and we found an exchange program that was only over the summer, so I wouldn't have to miss any high school for it. It was to Italy, Sicily, and Greece, which are 3 amazing countries, and I was like, I would love to do that. But it ended up costing like $40,000 or something crazy like that. I mean, we wanted to do it, but like, there's no way that I could afford that. And so the next year in high school, they had the same sort of presentation, but this time it was through Rotary. Anyways, it was amazing because they talked about how it would be a year-long program, and I was thinking, all right, well, it's a year-long. It's going to be 3 times as much as the previous one, so there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. But they ended up saying like it pretty much only cost the amount of the plane ticket and the insurance are the only things you're really paying for. So it's kind of like baseline price, and you get to sort of choose the country. I knew I always wanted to do it, but it was really up to my parents, obviously. So finally, we were able to pull together the resources. I actually got a scholarship from World Experiences, and I don't even know if I would have been able to go on exchange without that. So thankfully, I was persistent about it. It was my dream. If you're considering exchange and you don't know for sure, just look into it. I mean, you should be 100% sure you want to be an exchange student, I would say, before you go on exchange, because it's not all fun and games. It's not a year-long vacation. I'm missing my family for a whole year, so. On to the next question. Why did you choose Austria? That's actually a really good question. The first country that I ever thought of going on exchange to was Sweden. I didn't really know anything about Europe at the time. I knew I wanted to go to Europe, but I didn't know where. So I did some research. Sweden was probably a bit too cold. The time that I was deciding which country I had to go to, I had a district conference that weekend, and I just sort of stumbled upon Austria. Everything looked pretty great. It was a lot like Switzerland, but less expensive, sort of. I really wanted a country that was snowy and had mountains, so I mean, I guess I got that. Actually, it's not snowy at all right now, it's just sort of raining. Anyways, Austria is a beautiful country. I'm 100% glad I chose this country. I probably wouldn't change it even if I went back, and I still would put Austria as number 1, and I'm in Salzburg, which is my favorite city in Austria, so couldn't really get more lucky. What do I hope to gain from my exchange year? I guess when I was first going on exchange, I hoped to gain the language skill. I'm sort of like 3.5 months into my exchange now, and I feel like I've learned a lot of German, but I wouldn't say I'm fluent. So I definitely hope to gain the language skill. I also hope to gain just general travel experience. Like, when else in your life are you going to be able to just take off a year and just go out there and just go on exchange? But now that I'm here, I guess the biggest thing that I hope to gain from this is life experience, because having to go out and find your own friends, make your own friends, and do everything yourself, sort of. Not that I don't have any help. I've had plenty of help since I've been here. Otherwise, I would be living on the streets right now. But it gives you a lot of life experience. So that's another thing I'm hoping to gain. But I guess the language would be the number 1 thing, and the travel, obviously. I mean, you can just learn a language sitting at home doing nothing, but in the culture also. I wanted to be immersed in another culture, just because why not? What has been your greatest experience so far? I'm gonna have to think about this one. I would say my greatest experience since I've been in Austria was my first day. And it's the truth. I mean, I'd been traveling for a solid 24 hours pretty much. I was tired nonetheless, because when I arrived here in Austria, it was about 2 a.m. American Central Time, which is what I'm in. And I was not doing too well. I was tired, and it was actually really hot in Austria. It was like, I think it was like 34 or 36 degrees when I arrived, Celsius, obviously. So I wasn't doing too well, but I was just so happy to have arrived. And then we just sort of went to their house. I ate a bowl of spaghetti, and then they just sort of asked me, like, what do you want to do now? They sort of gave me some options, and I just said, I kind of just want to go and get to know the city that I'm going to be living in for another year. So actually we went and hopped on my host dad's moped, and we drove into the center of town, and we just sort of walked around. We got some ice cream, and we looked at the city, and that was like the most like amazing moment for me so far. I got to see parts of the town that were from the movie Sound of Music, where Mozart was born, all on the first day. And then we went to a castle, a big yellow castle, and we got some water, and we just sort of sat there, looked at the Alps, looked at all the Alps, and just sat there and talked and got to know each other. And that was the greatest, probably one of the greatest days of my life, I would say. It was so amazing just to finally be in Austria. So that was my greatest experience so far, I would say. But I've only been here for 3 months now, so I'm sure maybe there will be something that tops it, I don't know. What am I most looking forward to? Returning to America with all of this experience that I have. And how do you think the 2080 rule applies to your exchange? Okay, the 2080 rule is, it's a bit complicated to explain, but, okay, shut up. But basically, like 20% of the population has 80% of the money. Basically, the rich get richer, the poor get poorer. How does that apply to your exchange? This is going to be a stretch. I have no idea. What kind of question is that? Next question. Have you recreated the entire Sound of Music yet? I've recreated parts of it. Actually, we went one day to the little fountain where she splashed in that one scene in Sound of Music, and we all did that and took little pictures of it. Next question. My brother asked me, do I have Snapchat? I actually just got Snapchat about a week ago, so you can add me on there. I guess I'll show my little Snapchat thingy if you guys want to add me. I should have gotten it earlier. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh! That's my Snapchat. I'll hold it there for a second so you can add me. Okay. Next question. Let's see. Okay, what was your first thought when you got to know your town? When I first got to know Salzburg, my thoughts were like, I couldn't have landed in a better spot. I didn't actually choose Salzburg, but like if I could have chosen a town, I would have chosen Salzburg, even before I knew what Salzburg was like, just because anytime you look up Austria, Salzburg comes up. So my first thought was, this is an amazing town. I'm going to have an awesome year. Next question. What was the biggest difference between Austria and the US? Definitely would have to be the culture. People, when you first meet them, act a lot differently. And not that that is a bad thing. Austrians, you gotta work a little bit more to get to know them and to be their friend. So yeah, that's probably the biggest difference. And then like, obviously, we don't really have like 1,000-year-old buildings just everywhere in America, so that's a big difference too. And a different language and whatnot. But most common first questions you get asked. I'm glad you put first questions, because since about a year ago, I've been getting asked questions pretty much every day, even before I came to exchange. It kind of feels like every day is an interview, which gets annoying after a while. But don't stop asking questions. I love questions. Most common first question right now. I mean, like I said, it changes everywhere. It changes like all the time. It's changed probably like 4 or 5 times. I guess when I first started looking into exchange, it was like, when are you leaving? What country are you going to? Sort of like the kind of questions I've already answered in this video. Did you learn German before in America? I switched schools recently, so a lot of people ask me why I switched schools. If you want to know why I switched schools, it's mostly so I can travel a bit more. The other school was really strict with like traveling as far as like Eurotour. I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. I just have to do that. So I switched schools for that reason. This other school, I think switching schools has actually been the best decision I've made since I've been here in Austria. So if I think of any other ones later, I'll let you know. Okay, next question. In 500 words or less, how would you describe the Austrian honeybee's pattern of pollination? I don't see a lot of honeybees here, but when I first arrived, there were wasps everywhere. Their pattern of pollination is to fly into my soda and then get killed, because I ain't about that life. That was, I think, less than 500 words. Next question is, will you please finally explain your multitude of names? I don't know what you mean by that, Cameron, because I think you guys only know me by Jake. Okay, first nickname I ever got was Kevin. One day after school, I was walking home. I used to walk home from school in like 7th, 8th grade. And I was walking home from school and this dude just walked past me and he goes, "Hey Kevin." Just like started cracking up. So ever since then I went by Kevin, and that pretty much lasted for like 2 or 3 years. People would just call me Kevin. Even in school, like everywhere. And then next nickname I got was Jim Jim. This one's kind of a funny story too. I was with one of my friend's older brother. We were playing ping pong, and the game was getting really intense, and I was just sort of standing there watching, and it was getting really intense, and I think one of the times they hit it and I was in the way, and my friend's older brother just said, "Get out of the way, Jimmy, Jim Jim," and then everyone just started calling me Jim Jim. That was the biggest nickname I ever had, Jim Jim. People call me like Will and William, but those are mostly just my teachers. Next question, do you miss your mother? Yes, I miss my mother and my family and my friends. I miss everyone very much. Since I've been making like more friends and spending time with them, it really helps with the homesickness. So yeah, I miss my mother, I miss everyone. But okay, final question. I might ask myself some questions after this one. Next question, are you attending any kind of church in Austria? No. And that's because I've not actually seen any Protestant churches since I've been here. I've seen, like every church that I've seen has been Catholic pretty much. Even the Protestant ones are really, really different than what I think I'm used to in America. I mean, if I saw one, and I would probably go to it, but no, I'm not going to any sort of church right now. I will be going to church on December 25th. Okay, video stopped recording for some reason right after that last question, so I'm gonna have to go back through here, and then closed out Facebook. So let's see. Next question is, how often did you plan on making videos when you first arrived in Austria? When I first got here, I originally planned on doing one video every month, and so far it's been 3.5 months and I've made one video, so I'm at 30% of what I plan on doing. Next question is, how many host families do you have? I have one host family, and for me I think that's a good thing, because most people have 3 or 4 host families. For me, having one host family is great because, well, for one thing, they're a great host family. I don't know, for me just having one is a good thing, especially because I like them so much. One host family. Okay, that was the last question, so thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next videos throughout December. If you haven't already, just subscribe to my channel. Like the video if you liked it. Yeah. If I forgot to put anything, I'll add it in later. So, okay, I did forget one thing. And that was basically to tell you guys, or I guess to ask you guys to ask me more questions, because I hope I answered all your questions, but ask me on Facebook, ask me in the comments, because there probably will be a part 2 to this video. Yeah, just ask more questions. That's it for today, and see you guys later.